Ciao, I'm Mary Ann Esposito. Today on Ciao Italia, making your own mascarpone cheese. Today I thought I would make fresh mascarpone cheese for you. You know, mascarpone is a cheese that comes from northern Italy, in Lombardia, and it's a full-fat cheese. So in this pot, I have 2 cups of heavy cream, and you want to make this using a thermometer because you want the temperature to come to about 180. Between 180 and 190 is fine. So you get it up to 180, and you add a pinch of salt, just a pinch of salt. Then you need some sort of acid to thicken, to make this thick. So we're using lemon juice. But in the old days, they used tartaric acid. So I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and I'm going to stir this. Now, what's going to happen is that this cream is going to thicken. It's going to take about 5 to 8 minutes to thicken, and you want it to thicken so that it coats the back of a spoon. So once you've got it to the desired thickness, about 5 to 8 minutes, then you're going to need to let this cool for about 45 minutes. And then you want to strain it and put it through cheesecloth. So we're going to let this cook until it's where I want it, and then I'll show you what happens next. All right, here is mascarpone cheese that has been draining. You see, I lined a sieve with some damp cheesecloth, poured in the cream after it had sat for 45 minutes, and you have that excess whey that comes out. So you really want to let this drain really well overnight, and then you have this beautiful looking mascarpone cheese. Look at that. Gorgeous. You could eat it just like that. So, what are we going to do with this? Well, we're going to make several recipes with this, but we're going to start with making a plum sundae with mascarpone. So I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator because it really shouldn't sit out. So let me just put it back in while we do the sauce part. So for a plum sundae with mascarpone, you need plums. So I like dark plums, or you could use the green plums if you want. And you just want to slice them up. I leave them into pieces like this and just cut around that pit, because sometimes that pit is just hard to get out, see? And then I just slice like that. So this is going to be a very quick sauce. So you want to get your plums into slices and put them in a big bowl. And here's one more. Make sure that they're ripe too. Sometimes you know when you twist them like that, you just know that they're perfect. When there's a little give, when you can put your finger right there and they just indent a little bit, then you know that they're perfect. So when you get them home, you should just put them on the counter. That one's really juicy, but this is all going to cook down, so it really doesn't matter. And let me do this one right around that pit. And then I just save the pit area and I just eat it when nobody's looking. I just, eat around it. Okay, so there are our plums. And then we're also going to need some lemon juice with this, some fresh lemon juice. So just cut up a lemon here. Get out the pits. You can use a lemon reamer if you want to, but I'm being lazy today. Just, the best way to get extra lemon juice out of a lemon that's starting to dry, stick it in your microwave for a couple seconds. That'll soften it up. All right, so here's our lemon juice. So now all we have to do is cook this. So I'm going to put all the plums in a pan and add some sugar. About a half a cup of sugar goes in. And I'm going to take this over with the lemon juice and get this going. So this is only going to take about 5 minutes to do because we want some texture. We want to let these slices cook, but we don't want them to dissolve totally. So you get the sugar mixed. I should add a little bit of salt to this, just a pinch, just a little pinch of salt. Now, we're making a plum sundae, but you could use other fruits with this as well. You could do raspberries, blueberries, be delicious. And the mascarpone will go just as well with that as with anything else. I mean, the mascarpone is just so versatile. And you know, most people know mascarpone as that cheese that you use to make tiramisu. And tiramisu really, nobody knows who really invented tiramisu, but we know that it does use mascarpone. So now the sugar is starting to dissolve, and I'm going to add the lemon juice. And the lemon juice is just to bump up that flavor. So about, a tablespoon or so of lemon juice. And continue cooking until these start to kind of mush down a little bit, and the color will change because I've left the skins on of the plums. Not only for the color, but also because there's a lot of goodness in that skin, so you really don't want to take the skin off. At least I don't, but if you want to take the skin off, you can. So you can use Santa Rosa plums if you want. You could use green plums, but I like the dark purple because I think it makes a really pretty color when it's cooked. So this takes about 5 minutes, and then we're going to let this cool, and then all we have to do is combine it with our mascarpone cheese for a really beautiful dessert that takes very little effort to make. All right, while that is cooling, we're going to make a beautiful mascarpone and berry cake. And we're going to start with some blackberries. So here are blackberries. You buy them in your grocery store, or when they're in season, you can get them from your farmer's market. But here's a tip for you. When you get berries of any type home, take them out of that plastic package because they're all piled on top of one another and they will mold because there's so much moisture in them. So I take them out and I put them on paper towel, just like this, see? And then I keep them in the refrigerator covered. You could put a piece of plastic wrap over the top, and they will stay for days like this. But if you leave them in the package, they're going to mold very quickly. So always do that. That's a great tip. So I'm going to set these aside because we're going to use them later, and we're going to start with making the cake. Everything about baking is preparation. So we're going to start with the pan. So about an 8.5 inch pan, cake pan. I've got some butter, and I just take a little wax paper and I really grease that pan well. Go all the way around. This is a great company cake. It's a great cake to have plain, but we're going to put a little sauce with it. And then I put a piece of parchment paper, see, in the base of the pan. You can find parchment paper in any grocery store, kitchen cookware store, and then I grease that as well with a little bit of butter. All right, so once our pan is prepared, then we can just set that aside. Now we're going to work with what goes into the cake. So the first thing we want to do is have some flour. So this is cake flour. It's a low protein flour. I have 1 1/3 cups of cake flour. I'm going to give this just a pinch of salt and baking powder. So teaspoon, tablespoon of baking powder, whatever you would like. And then the grated zest of an orange. This gives really nice flavor with this. So I just put the zest right in there with the dry ingredients. Now this idea came to me one day when I was picking blackberries, actually. My friend Sherry, who has a huge blackberry farm, but she just lets it go wild. So I go over there mid-August and I pick blackberries that I bring them home. And we eat them, of course, just plain or with ice cream. And then I freeze a lot of them. So then I have them in the wintertime. So if you're going to freeze blackberries, what you want to do is put them in a single layer on a cookie sheet, stick them in the freezer until they're hard as marbles. And then you want to put them in your plastic bag and freeze them. Because if you just put them all in a plastic bag, without putting them in a single layer, you'll have a nice, just clumped, icy mess. Okay, so there is the zest of an orange. I'm going to get all of that. Whoops. Okay, kind of slippery too. So I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to put this over to the side here while we work on the eggs. So we want 2 eggs, about 5 tablespoons of melted and cooled butter. Put that in a bowl. And we're going to add about 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And get that going. So you can either do this by hand or use a hand mixer. You want to really get that well blended with the butter. Don't be in a hurry to do this. You really want to mix this well. All right, that looks good. Now we're going to add our eggs. So we want 2 eggs for this. And I'm just going to beat them up slightly with a fork before I add them to the sugar mixture. That makes it easier for me to hold the mixer and also get the eggs in. Okay, now you add the eggs. So basically what we're doing is putting all the wet ingredients together to add to all the dry ingredients. I'm going to raise the speed on this now. When it looks nice and fluffy, that's when we're going to add some extract, almond extract to this. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to add a little almond extract. Make sure you're always using 100% pure extracts, not flavorings. Extracts have to have at least 35% oil. So this is almond extract. You only need a dab because it's pretty powerful. So I added a dab of that. Get that mixed in. All right. Now, you remember that mascarpone cheese we made? Okay, ready to add it. So here it is. Take a look at it again. Hey, look. Beautiful. Okay. And I have a cup of it here. So I'm going to add it right to my eggs. Now, mascarpone sometimes is very difficult to find. So that's why I'm giving you this lesson on how to make it. It's so easy. Just the heavy cream and the lemon, a little bit of salt, you've got it. So nothing to it. So now we want to blend that all in. This is going to give a nice added richness to this cake as well as moisture. All right, that is looking good. I'm going to turn that off, put this back in the refrigerator, and talk to you about the second tip on the berries, because these are going to have to go into the batter. But what we want to do is flour them so that they don't all sink to the bottom. So you take them, put them in a bowl. You don't want to break them up. Just lightly coat them. Okay, so we can set that aside and work with this flour. So here we have the flour and the baking powder, a little salt, we have the orange zest. I'm just going to pour this right into here. Look at that, silky, silky looking batter. Okay, we don't want to lose any of that, so that's in. And now we want to give this a little twirl. Get this all well blended. This is a cake that's going to serve about 8 people. Raise that speed a little bit. And you can see now how the batter has thickened up some. All right, that looks good. And now we add the berries. So remember, they're just lightly coated with some flour. So you just put them in. I would say about a tablespoon of flour is really enough. And then I just fold them in, trying not to break them up too much. Such a nice, easy cake to make. And of course, there are many other uses for mascarpone besides using them in desserts. You can use mascarpone in savory dishes as well. It's great added to just a plain tomato sauce. Or if you want to have mascarpone spread on a nice piece of crostini and then top it with some fruit, that's also delicious. All right, so now we have this mixed. Now we're going to put it into our cake pan. Now you want to make sure that your oven has been preheated to 350 degrees. Get it all in there. And spread it evenly. I can hardly wait for this. And you see how those berries have pretty much stayed whole and they haven't colored the batter too much. This cake is going to take about, between 35 and 45 minutes. When it's nicely browned and you can stick a cake skewer in the center of it, it's done. I'm not going to leave a speck behind. Okay. That, my friends, is ready for the oven. So oven is on, 350. Give it a little tap on the counter, and in it goes. Okay, while that's baking, we're going to make the sauce. So here are those blackberries again. I'm going to put them into a little pan. And this isn't going to take very long, so we're going to add some sugar. Couple tablespoons of sugar. Okay? And over medium heat, you really want to they're very delicate, so you want to cook them until they start to send out their juice and they collapse a little bit. You could make this a pure sauce if you wanted to take out the seeds. You would have to sieve this all through a small sieve after they were cooked and press on the berries to get all the juice. But I leave the whole thing. I'm lazy, so I'm just going to cook these down until they're the consistency I want. And then I'll cool this and then we can serve it with the cake. So now they're just starting to get a little heat on them. I want to wait till that sugar starts to melt a little bit and we start to see some juice here. All right, this is looking pretty good. So I'm going to turn this off now. It's very saucy looking. And I'm going to let this cool down. So while it's cooling, let's make mascarpone with figs on crostini. So here's that mascarpone again. Just look, it's so beautiful. It's so fluffy and velvety. And here is another use for it. As I said, little crostini. So you take some of that beautiful mascarpone, you know, just spread it on a couple pieces of toasted bread. We did these in olive oil, just a little over the top. There's so many uses for it. Like I said, you could also put this in tomato sauce. You could add it to vegetables. You could put it into a soup that you're making. So then I just take some dried figs, or if you have fresh figs, even better. Just cut them up to small pieces. You know, add them over the top like that. This makes a real easy appetizer to serve to company. And you can keep the mascarpone in your refrigerator once you make it, at least for 4 or 5 days. I've kept it even longer, really. So top it with a little bit of fresh fig, or you could do something else if you didn't want to do fig. You could just leave the mascarpone by itself. You could put a little bit of mint on there just to dress it up a little bit. Look how cute they are. Let me do a couple more. Again, this delicious looking mascarpone. And this is great to know about making your own because, as I say, it's hard to find sometimes. And I have to say that the homemade mascarpone is so much better because you know exactly what's in it. No stabilizers, just the cream and the salt and the lemon juice. There's another one. I'll put a little bit more on that one. Okay, like that. Again, add some little mint leaves. Well, these are the tiniest mint leaves I've ever seen. Piece there. One there. Look. Beautiful. So, now that we have that, let's go get that cake. Here's our baked cake. See how nice it looks? And the berries stayed where they were supposed to. They didn't all sink to the bottom. So now we just need to give this a nice hailstorm of confectioner's sugar. So I just take some confectioner's sugar, put it right in my sieve, and then just go all the way around this cake. Imagine this cake now with that mascarpone, making it just super moist. So, there you have it. A bunch of things to do with your own homemade mascarpone. So look what you can do with making your own homemade mascarpone cheese. Today we started out by making our own with some whipped cream, with some acid, which we used lemon juice for, a little bit of salt. So now I'm going to top that beautiful plum sauce that we made with some of this mascarpone. Beautiful. And one for you. Heavy cream, lemon juice, salt equals mascarpone. And then we made this beautiful mascarpone and berry cake. Remember, we used blackberries and we folded the mascarpone cheese into the egg batter and baked it, and now it's all ready for serving. And you can serve it with a beautiful blackberry sauce, spooned on the side or over the top. And if you've got extra mascarpone cheese left, well, make yourself a few little crostini with some dried figs over the top. And so there you have it, mascarpone from home.